Have you ever found yourself making excuses for someone's behavior, saying things like they just had a hard childhood or they're stressed at work? We all have difficult days. We all get cranky, tired, or even a bit selfish. I mean, I've been cranky myself. But there is a massive clinical difference between a difficult personality and a pathological narcissist. Hi, I'm Barbara Dutchnowski, an LCSW and certified narcissistic abuse treatment clinician, as well as survivor myself. In my practice, New Leaf Psychotherapy LLC, I help survivors navigate the fog, the fear, obligation, and guilt that keeps you stuck. Today, we're breaking down the red flags that separate difficult from narcissistic. More importantly, we're going to talk about why your nervous system already knows the answer, even if your mind is still trying to figure it out. Everyone can be selfish sometimes. A difficult person might hurt your feelings, but when you tell them, they eventually feel bad. They get defensive at first, maybe, but they have the capacity for genuine remorse. They could sit in the discomfort of knowing they're causing you pain. They will say, "I'm sorry for hurting you." A narcissist, however, lacks effective empathy. They might understand you're sad. We call that cognitive empathy, but they don't feel it. So they understand it here, but not here. Instead of comfort, you get a performance of empathy, or more likely a lecture on why your feelings are inconvenient for them. Does the person in your life care that you're hurting, or do they just care that your mood is ruining the day? You will hear things like, "Why are you so negative? You're so negative about everything. It's never enough for you, is it?" I want you to think about the last time you brought up a concern with a difficult person. It feels like a tough conversation, but with a narcissist, it feels like an interrogation. In my office, I often hear clients say that they feel like they're walking on eggshells. Look a little closer at that. Why are you walking on eggshells? It's because you've learned that your ego is fine, but their ego is a landmine. You become a world-class detective, scanning their face the moment they walk through the door. Are they squinting their eyes? Did they say hello with a certain tone? There's that tension in the jaw. I just know it. A difficult person might be grumpy, but they don't hold your peace of mind hostage. A narcissist makes your emotional safety dependent on their current mood. That's not a quirk, that's a control mechanism. Difficult people can say, "I'm sorry." It might be a messy apology, but they own their own part. With a narcissist, accountability is a threat to their survival. You'll notice a pattern called blameshifting. If they forget your birthday, it's because you didn't remind them enough. If they were caught in a lie, it's because you make it unsafe for them to tell the truth. You may hear, "Yeah, you get too emotional. I can't tell you the truth. You can't handle it. You're weak." So let's look at the narcissist's apology. It usually sounds something like, "I'm sorry you feel that way," or "I'm sorry, but you did this first. Remember 5 years ago when you did that thing?" This is a clinical red flag because it's a non-apology. A narcissist focuses entirely on their intent. They'll say, "I didn't mean to hurt you, so why are you still mad?" They use their intent as a shield to ignore the actual damage they caused. If you find yourself litigating in what feels like a court of law, your own hurt feelings just to get a simple apology, that is a personality structure that cannot handle being wrong. A difficult person wants to win the argument. A narcissist wants to win over the person. Notice the power dynamic. Do they belittle your achievements to say one up? A difficult person is just hard to get along with. A narcissist needs you to be less than so that you can feel less than compared to their more than. Have you ever noticed how they can be the most charming person in the room with strangers, but the moment the car door shuts, the mask slips? We call this public saint, private sinner syndrome. A difficult person is usually difficult across the board. They never present themselves as any different in public. But a narcissist is calculating. If everyone in town thinks they're a pillar of the community, you are at home trembling or feeling invisible, trust your private experience over that public performance. This is where we look at the New Leaf perspective. Difficult people have bad seasons. Narcissists have bad cycles. Look for the pattern. The idealization, otherwise known as love bombing, the devaluation, the picking you apart, criticism, and the discard, leaving you when you're depleted, and you have nothing left to give, or else you're left holding the bag and all the responsibility. If you look back over 2, 5, or 10 years and the patterns are identical regardless of how much you fix yourself, you aren't dealing with a difficult person. You're dealing with a personality structure that is rigid and resistant to change. You cannot love someone out of a personality disorder. This is an impossible feat. As an EMDR therapist, I always ask my clients, what is your body telling you when you are around a difficult person? You might feel annoyed or frustrated, but when you're around a narcissist, your nervous system goes into high alert. Ooh, let's try something right now. Close your eyes for a second. Think about a time you had a disagreement with a difficult friend. You probably felt frustrated, maybe a little hot in the face. But think about the person you're worried about today. Do you feel that tightness in your throat, the pit in your stomach? That is hypervigilance. Your body is reacting to a threat that your mind is trying to rationalize away. Your body doesn't have a logic filter, it only has a safety filter. And if your body is telling you it's not safe, believe it. You might be asking, okay, it's narcissism, so what now? This is the part that is often missing from the conversation. Knowing the label is only step 1. Step 2 is unlearning the survival strategies you had to develop just to stay in that relationship. You've spent so long studying them, it's time to start studying you again. That's why in my practice with clients, we don't just talk about what they did. We focus on what's happened to you. This is much more important. Whether it's through clinical hypnotherapy to calm the nervous, overreactive system, or EMDR to process the looping memories, there is a way to get yourself back. If these flags sounded like a biography of your relationship, please know that you are not crazy and you are not alone. Healing requires specialized recovery. If you happen to be in the New Jersey area and ready to move from surviving to thriving, visit the link in the description to learn more about our practice. Don't forget to subscribe. In our next video, we're going to be talking about the gaslighting cycle and how to start trusting your own eyes again. I'm Barbara Dutchnowski, LCSW, and I'll see you in the next one. It's time to turn a new leaf. Thank you.